tolerance. Tolerance. This is a big key. Um, and I struggle, and I'm seeing, in it, I see some hope with young people. I'm seeing the young people, they are more tolerant than the elderly people, those of the 1962 era, the 70s, and so on, and the 80s era. But still, a lot of them are in power. So therefore, there's this pushback against the younger ones who are saying, listen, we're going to universities together, we're partying together, we're playing cricket, football, and socializing together. So, daddy, mommy, I'm kind of hearing you, but I'm not hearing you because I don't follow that kind of ethic that you're pushing.
But you see, during this election,
yeah,
and during the electioneering, racism and intolerance was heightened. It became, I would say, an epidemic that was more lethal than the microbe itself. Now, racial intolerance in our nation, I think, is the real enemy. Because it means that if the government happens to be East Indian, half the population vex and not cooperated. If the government happens to be African, half the population vex and not cooperated. So that's bad production. That's total indiscipline and very little tolerance, if no tolerance at all. And that's where we have to see this. There was a young guy on TikTok who's in the height of this whole racial thing, who says, I don't get this, we listening to each other music, we eating each other food, we liming together with each other, we wearing each other clothes. I don't get what this racism thing is. And for the younger generation, it was really abhorrent, and it ought to be for every citizen. But we were carrying it on and promoting it. And this is the tolerance that the Prime Minister spoke to, that if we can either work together and build up this house with discipline and high productivity, or we could mash up this house, but that's an act of barbarism. And sometimes it looks to me like we would prefer to mash up this house than work together and build it up. And the thing is, when you mash up the house, who is going to be affected? And that's where I come back to Ubuntu. I am because we are. And we have to be important, more important than I. And therefore, I might want to mash up the house, but for the sake of the we, I have to be tolerant. And I have to find another solution to this thing. And that is really the big challenge that I think that we are facing right now. And that's why you ask me, what's the real challenge? No, the real challenge is not the microbe. It is the lack of virtue in the heart of the citizen that has been able to get away for decades upon decades with, I think, I feel alike and therefore I act. And that action, divorced from virtue, has created the real moral pandemic that is killing our nation.